uh, it was about red meaning green. It's the opposite. It's like it says red, orange, and purple. This is an illusion. That's the ideal. It's an imaginary world not living into full reality. That's the blue pill. Go back to your dream state. We use that in politics today. And as I was going through college, we often talked about the red pill or the blue pill, which one you take, or you say something like if you get serious on a topic or something, and you're like really dogmatic about that, they say, "Oh, he's on that red pill." Or if you like talk about a movie that you all off into science, sci-fi, you're making conclusions and you're drawing conclusions, and you're talking about issues on just imaginary things. People like he off that blue pill. So that was a big thing. I noticed that I didn't really put it all together to the last few years when I really focused on it. Society after college, after my university experience, I started focusing on what was happening in the world and seeing things and listening, kind of having a conversation with people across the country as I traveled throughout the United States. I was seeing people talk about issues. I'm like, dang, they don't make no sense. I was like, the gas prices, how they get high. And you would have people go off on tantrums. And I remember my college experience, I was like, there go blue pill. And that when it doesn't make sense, common sense, like everybody has common sense. You don't have to have a degree or anything to have common sense. You know the difference between an apple and an orange. You know they're both a fruit. So it ain't like one is a vegetable and one is a fruit. Both there's common sense. They're both fruit. So this is the type of concept I'm talking about. When you're talking to a person that doesn't really sound like they make sense, but they're not really making sense. You're like, man, dang, I thought I had a good, decent conversation. Now you just want to get away from the person. Not in a way that you don't like their view or their point of view. It's not making common sense. And you're like, okay, you're off that blue pill. I'm leaving. So since I've been out here in the last 4 or 5 years, even during COVID, just conversating with different people and traveling to Texas, New York, Missouri, Chicago, Illinois, different states in the union, all the way over, just all over the country, just having reasonable conversations. They were like, "Oh, where are you from?" They could tell, by the accent or something, that you're not from that area. I was like, "I'm from the Pacific Northwest," and I said, "Oh, liberal land," and I kept hearing that all over the country, liberal land. And I said, "Yeah, I have a lot of liberal ideals, and I tend to lean towards liberal perspectives." But I'm open to any perspective if it makes sense, and so I try to stay away from titles, but I understand that a lot of people reference things around titles and people draw their conclusions and opinions on titles. And it's okay, I guess. That's your way of seeing the world, and that's fine. But I just set the tone for the conversation today about the red pill and blue pill, or the red concept or the blue concept. Which is the great divide. Although now it's in our political social structure, I'm still looking at it from the conversation is looking at it from the do you view things in a realistic way, or do you view things in an imaginary way? And you can have your opinion, but do you have a base conversation on actual factual things that everybody in society conclude as a fact? Like oxygen. That's a fact. We need oxygen to breathe. Everybody know you need oxygen to breathe. Do you agree with these facts? You'd be surprised. There some people will say, "Oh, I need carbon dioxide to breathe." It's weird. I'm serious. I ran across people with that kind of ideation, mental ideation, and I'm like, "Wow, you're kind of different." And I respect their view. I don't agree with it, and I pretty much try to get away. In a respectful way. But the conversation today is, are you taking the blue pill or the red pill? Where the lens do you see at it? Excuse me. If that's okay, how do you view things? Where do you see society moving towards, the gas prices, food cost, apartment rents. I see it right now when I look at the live traveling and seeing the market and seeing people that own property, apartment complexes, multifamily units, homes, and commercial property. Open up business myself and seeing the problem with different commercial properties across the nation, and it's hard to find. Excuse me for that. To find the opportunity to open up a business and be able to establish a business. There's such a large situation where when you open up a business, you got to look at everything. You got to look at the environment, the customer pace, the community, what type of business you're going to open up in that space, and if it's going to be effective. You got to look at the risk calculation. So when I was opening up different businesses across the country and talking to constituents that are interested in opening up their first business, it'd be a restaurant or a barber shop. I opened up a couple of barbershops in different locations across the nation. I always look to take these into consideration. I look for mentors, the people that have already done it, or I go into business shops and to owners, and I talk to them and say who was successful in your community that had multiple barbershops that was successful presently or got out successfully. So it doesn't mean because you own that's why I try to tell people we've been taught to see if you're not owning a business now, then you're not successful. Or you had a business for 10 years and you closed down. You don't know the purpose of the person, there's reason to close their business down. You don't know the background, why their business was open. You don't know what that person had seen that led that individual to close that business. So you don't know the outcomes. You're just seeing you're seeing the outcomes that is closed down. But that person could have been very successful and then took that revenue and became a venture capitalist and placed their money in the multi-business now instead of running a business. They actually returned their time and took the funding over the 10 years, the access funding, and started other business with other entrepreneurs. And now they have less risk but more financial reward. See, and they're not running any business. I'd rather have 10% in the team business than have 100% responsibility in one business that's not guaranteed to be successful. Do you see what I'm trying to say? So if I could give you, like you open a business, you need $20,000, and you offer me 10% of the business, I'll take that deal. If I get 10 shops, that's $20,000. But I have 100% of 10 businesses. The risk factor is times 10. I'm going to be successful in some space. I'm going to make my money back in some. Out of 10 businesses, there's going to be successful ones. So therefore, I'm going to get my revenue back at wholesale. So you got to think about when you look at different things. When you're look for a mentor, you got to look at, this is the red pill. You got to look at it from that perspective. So when I moved to different cities, I would look at who was successful in that area, and I would try to set up an information interview with them and have a conversation with them and try to build a rapport with them and see if I'm planning on opening a business, what side of town is successful, why did they close down. And I got a lot of different reviews and different commentaries from owners and venture capitalists and different business owners and entrepreneurs, and I was very surprised. They gave me a lot of knowledge and wisdom so that I use when I go out open a business. As far as one, I'll be doing another podcast on another show soon. Hopefully, I'm gonna just mark that out there. Hopefully, go through, and we're gonna be talking about entrepreneurship. So, and hopefully, I'll be doing another interview. I'm gonna start doing some interviews with some young Americans that started, young gunners, I call them, that started small businesses successful. I'm actually working with one young gunner. He's a little older, but he's still young compared to the people I'm used to, 70, 80-year-old men and women. So he's successful, doing his thing. Respect him. So I want to interview him on entrepreneurship. So that's one that's coming up. That's one of my pilot interviews are coming up soon. So I have a lot of respect for the young man. He's very successful. So from there, we'll move forward. I'm looking at opportunities to move forward. But the red pill is real and the blue pill is real. So back to the original topic, what do you? How do you view your world? Do you view your world from the red pill, or do you view your world from the blue pill? Which one have you taken? Which one do you choose? Which one? You see, I'm in the Pacific Northwest. I see a lot of blue pills. To be honest with you, when I talk about the gas price, when I talk about food and commodities, and I see ones that's not really seeing from a facts-based perspective. Hey, why is the price is $11 for a 12-point count eggs? Supply demand, different reasons for that. It's got nothing to do with politics. It's all capitalism. It's all financial. It's all economics. And so people talk about certain things, and I'm like, that doesn't make sense. You're taking out of the RAM where that space belongs. That's economics, man. Got nothing to do with politics. Politics has a space there in there, but overall, it's all about economics. You look at things from that perspective. So just to hear people like that, and then just having a conversation of gas prices. And I'm saying, why the gas prices so high? What's going on in the world? The dollar bill, the value, the price of gas, who we're getting purchasing gas from, the international and domestic. We have gas here, but we have other responsibilities too, not just for vehicles. We have infrastructures that got to be supplied to the American people. So there's a lot of things that people don't pay attention to. They just think about they look from their personal view. And that's why I say you got to choose the red pill or the blue pill, but you must make a choice. And how do you view what do you view the world through? The lens of a blue space or the lens of a red space? And I think it's optional to you to decide what you want to do. I pretty much view everything through I'm realizing through the red. I mean, I try to look at things from the factual standpoint. Not, I have my own little moments of ideation of just utopia, but I can see in America we're having a lot of things going on. We're making a lot of historical movements, and as far as in politics, as far as in education, as far as in labor, just we're in uncharted waters right now. I must admit, and I like to talk to people about that. How do they feel? That's one live show I want to bring up. Americans, we're in historical times and uncharted waters, and we're trying to get a hold of things that's going on in the world that are affecting us, but we're also trying to get internally do what historical things that's happening right now inside the United States of America that never happened or happened 50, 60, 70 years ago, 100 years ago. So it's been a long time, so we're dealing with a lot of nuances that we're not used to, and we got to recognize that as a people, as a nation. And so I'm excited about what's coming up. I know through history, looking back on history, we've seen this before, the Great Depression. We've seen fighting from the Great Britain, the Civil War. When you look at things that happened before that happened, what led up to that, major situation, World War I, World War II, while we got into them wars. Also, each folks that I talked about, like the World Wars, and also the Civil War, also our fight for independence as a nation, and also the Great Depression, the economic turndown of the bank system, financial crashes. When you look at all this, you look at what accumulated to them, and then how do we deal with them after? They give us some hindsight. That's why I say if you don't respect history, you are doomed to repeat it again. So I always tell my children and everybody I talk to always look at history. It'll give you some hindsight of what's going on in the world. So, but you can't live in a blue pill all your life. You can, and think it's going to be a total utopia, and leave it to the people that's living in the red pill to deal with your world, and you just live in escapism. That's not good, but you can try, maybe it'll work for you. 2 minutes. Oh, so yeah, think about it. Red pill or blue pill. Make a decision, but you got to make a decision. I'm in this live chat right now. Have a wonderful evening. I hope you enjoyed this discussion. I'll be back soon with the next live broadcast. Have a wonderful day.
The library.